I'm Sean McNamara.
I'm Nick Viano.
And I'm Erin Regan, and we're here at Stewart Stadium on the campus of Hofstra University for the 18th Annual United Healthcare Empire Challenge.
Tonight's proceeds go to the Boomer Esiason Foundation to aid the fight against cystic fibrosis.
We're here tonight to see the best of New York City face off against the best of Long Island in a great matchup.
And you guys may not know this, but the first two games were played against Nassau and Suffolk, and then in 1998 they changed them so that New York City played Long Island.
Also, Long Island has won 9 out of the last 15 years, and we got to see what New York City has tonight to win for the first time since 2010.
Well, they might have a little bit of a challenge there, Sean, because Oceanside's own Vasily Grigorakis at running back and Anthony Pintabone at wide receiver are going to do a great dent here in tonight's game.
You're right. They were such key players for our Oceanside varsity team this year, so the Long Island team is seeming pretty strong.
The weather may be a big factor tonight in tonight's game because it is downpouring right now, and we'll see if it holds up until game time. Let's get to it. I'm Sean McNamara, and I'm here with Boomer Esiason at the Long Island vs. New York City Empire Challenge. Before I start off with my question, Boomer, I just want to point out that I live with cystic fibrosis.
Well, Sean, I'm glad to see you here, and I'm glad to see that you're overcoming, you're achieving, and you're living your dream. Because as we always say, you cannot fail, and you're living, breathing proof of that, just like my son Gunnar is. So way to go.
Yep, thank you very much. And I just want to thank you for everything you do, for all people with cystic fibrosis. For
you should be thanking your parents, not me. You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Like always.
Great.
And recently we did a walk at the New York Institute of Technology, and we raised over $8,000. My team.
Well, listen, see, there's nothing better than having a fine example to follow after, because I think most of your friends probably realize what you're dealing with, and certainly us in the CF community know what you're dealing with.
Yep. And
the fact that you go out there, the fact that you're doing this, you are an inspiration to a lot of people. So I'm very proud of you.
Thank you
You're
very much.
welcome.
And also, I just wanted to give you this stuff. It's a bracelet.
Stuff. I love stuff.
Yes, and there's stuff in there
Nice.
for you. Yep.
Okay, good. How old are you, Sean?
I'm 16.
Really?
I'm turning 17 soon. Yep.
Who's interviewing who? You interviewing me
Yes,
or am I interviewing you?
I don't know. It's up to you.
Let's see what you got for me, all right?
What would you say is your best in-game broadcasting experience or professional NFL career experience in your life?
Well, for me, give me the microphone right here. Well, for me, interestingly enough, I did the Super Bowl between the Cardinals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And right before halftime, James Harrison took an interception back 101 yards for a touchdown. And interestingly enough, as the analyst of that game, I was working with Marv Albert, who was calling the game at the time. I looked up at the clock and I said that if he doesn't score a touchdown, the half is going to end, and all of this is going to be for nothing. And thankfully for the Pittsburgh Steelers fan and for James Harrison and his teammates, he did score a touchdown. And I felt like I was right on, like I was really paying attention to what was going on. And that was one of the most amazing plays that I can remember in any Super Bowl that's been played.
And how about your own professional career as an NFL player?
I've had so many great moments and so many great memories with all the 3 teams that I played with, the Jets, the Bengals, and of course the Cardinals. But there was one very special game in which I threw for 522 yards. I was the Cardinal quarterback and we were playing against the Redskins, and it was on Veterans Day. And one of the reasons I remember that game vividly is because Gunnar was 5 years old. Gunnar was at the game, and right prior to the game, they flew over a B-2 stealth bomber over the RFK Stadium, which they no longer play in. So I remember how much that must have meant to Gunnar to see that plane live fly right over the stadium, and then for me to go out there and throw for over 500 yards in a game was certainly magical.
Yeah, that's a great experience. And once again, I just want to thank you for everything you do for all people in the cystic fibrosis community, especially myself.
Well, listen, we're all in this together. That's what I say. And you guys are the prime examples. And we just saw Sarah Mernigan get a lung transplant down in Philadelphia, and she and her mom moved heaven and earth to make that happen. And just goes to show you in this country, if you're somebody like yourself, you can definitely leave an everlasting mark in the human race, and I'm going to count on you to do that, all right?
Of course, yeah. Thank you very much. Cure cystic fibrosis and breathe easy. Thank you, Boomer.
Good job. Thank you.
I'm here with Melvin Fowler, who played in this game when he was in high school and who played in the NFL. Melvin, what does it mean to you to come back to this game and see these kids playing?
It means a lot to me. I can't believe it's been 16 years since I played in this game. And it was an amazing honor for me to represent my high school, my family, my friends, and playing this game. And I know it's an amazing honor for these young men that are going to play tonight. And I'm looking forward to a victory by Long Island over New York.
Now, did this game when you played for Half Hollow Hills compare anything to playing in the NFL?
It didn't quite, compare to playing in front of 75,000 people, but it definitely meant a lot to me. It was my very last high school football game, as it is for these young men, and I never forgot it, and I'll never forget it, and these guys will never forget it, and this moment will last forever for them.
And finally, when Boomer came down to talk to us, you were with him, so you're obviously a friend. How are you involved with his foundation, and what's your connection to cystic fibrosis?
Well, Boomer, like myself, we both played high school football on Long Island, and ironically, we both accepted a full scholarship to play at the University of Maryland undergrad, and then we both went on to play in the NFL for 8 years or more. But Boomer likes to invite the former players that played football, high school football in Long Island, that played in the NFL to come back and give back. And I'm just grateful that he gave me the opportunity to come back every year to talk to these young men and to just let them know that with hard work and dedication they can make it to the NFL just as we did. And this foundation is amazing. Cystic fibrosis. We've raised millions of dollars for this foundation. And this year, personally, my mother wrote a book called Pee Wee Football to the NFL, A Mother's Perspective. She wrote a book, and she has a book signing here today, and all the proceeds from that go to cystic fibrosis. And we're just happy to be able to give back to this great cause.
And I'm sure everyone appreciates it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Aaron.
Hi, I'm here with Gary Brown, a member of the '96 Green Bay Packers Super Bowl team and a former student of Brentwood High School here on Long Island. So, Gary, tell me a little bit about what it feels like to be here right now and watch all these kids in your position.
Well, I don't think the kids understand the bright future that's ahead of them. As long as they play their cards right, be coachable, and the sky's the limit right now for these kids. And I hope that they understand that, the talent they have, the God-given talent that can take them a long way from Long Island.
Now, what would you say was your favorite moment playing in the pros?
Well, you got to say the Super Bowl, but I also got to say some of my life lessons. When I first got to Green Bay, I went up against Reggie White, and he taught me some life lessons right off the bat on how to stay in my lane and how to, be coachable and stuff like that. And I think that's a lesson that took me far in my career. So I would think those are some of my life lessons I learned.
Now, are there any tips that you have for these kids that are about to enter this field?
Oh, I could sit down and give them tips all day, but I think the number one tip is be coachable. Talent, talent comes a dime a dozen. Coachable talent is something that's needed these days. So if you're coachable and you're a good kid and stay out of trouble and your grades are right, the sky's the limit.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Thank you very much.
I'm here with Greg Sarah, who is the Newsday High School sports editor and also works for MSG Varsity. Now, you spend your career looking at high school students. What makes these kids extraordinary?
The football players in this game are extraordinary. I mean, these are the best of the best in Nassau and Suffolk County, and they comprise the Long Island team, which is the 50 top seniors here in Long Island. And what you have here is the best skill positions, the best linemen, the best quarterbacks. It's pretty awesome.
And what are some of the qualities that they're looking for in these kids to make such extraordinary teams?
Well, first, it's their skill set on the field. What do they bring athletically? What do they bring to the field? Their leadership qualities, what kind of characteristics they bring to being a team leader, to being a role model in school, to doing all the right things in the community. And then how do they do in the classroom? Are they exceptional students? Do they carry a good grade point average? And do they have their priorities straight? It's all about family, school, athletics.
And now, do you recognize some of these kids that you'll see on the roster that you've written about because, of such their achievements in high school?
Oh, absolutely. We were involved in the selection process, and it was the coaches from every conference and every division in Long Island, plus the game coordinator, Pete Blyberg, and some of the people in the media who've watched these kids all season in all different conferences. So they could have been in the larger schools or the smaller schools, and then we picked them by position to play in this game. So, yeah, I've seen pretty much everybody who's playing in this game at some point this year.
And is there a favorite team you're rooting for?
Yeah, I'd like to see Long Island win. I'm a Long Island guy.
There we go. That's Greg Sarah.
I'm here with Marty Lyons, a New York Jets announcer. So, Marty, what do you think of the matchups tonight in the game?
Well, in any type of all-star game, you look for the players to have fun, but the true talent is going to come out because it's so hard to have any continuity with the players. They don't know one another. They've only been practicing together for a week. So I think whatever team has the most discipline and that they can go out there and execute will win the game.
How are you associated with the Boomer Esiason Foundation, and what do you do involving cystic fibrosis?
Well, I'm a true believer in Boomer. I think Boomer has become the spokesperson for CF and the awareness of what we can do. If we all do the right thing, we can make better lives, not just for those people that we touch, but also for ourselves. So this is 18 straight years that I've been invited to announce this game, and anytime that you get an invitation from Boomer, you know what he stands for, you know what the cause is, and you try to participate.
What is your best announcing moment or in-game moment as an NFL player?
Sean, every moment is good. You got to have fun doing it. You have to be yourself. You have to have your own style. And more importantly, you have to be willing to take criticism. You're not always going to be right. If you can paint the picture, if you're doing it on radio, because people, all they do is listen to you. So you have to paint the picture. You got to make sure that they understand, and what you see is what you're painting. On TV, it's a little bit different. You let the picture, talk for itself.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any tips for an aspiring journalist or broadcaster like myself?
Relax. Be yourself. Enjoy it. And, have fun. If you make a mistake, it's not a big deal. Take two is a common term for any announcers. For some of us, it's take three, take four. But you have to relax, have a personality, speak from the heart, educate yourself on the game that you're doing, and just let it flow.
And is there any way I could come into the ESPN radio press box at a Jet game again?
We're going to try to get you up there. You did a great opening. Matter of fact, you did the keys to the game for us, and you nailed every one of them.
Thank you very much, Marty.
All right, Sean, always a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm here with Carl Reuter of MSG Varsity. So, Carl, Long Island has dominated the last 15 matchups, winning 9 of those. What do you think New York City has to do in order to win today's game?
Well, I could be crazy and just say score one more point, but you know what? It seems like Long Island year in and year out, Nick, they have a better array of passing and running the football. They have that whole offense. I don't know, a lot of times over the years, I don't think New York City has really shown that passing game. If they can mix some pass up with the running game and they have a running game, it could be a good game tonight.
Now, what would you say was your favorite moment of your broadcasting career?
Oh, boy. See, now that's a curveball. I'll take you back to maybe 1991, working for News 12 here on Long Island, on the field when the Giants beat the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl 25.
Wow.
That would probably be the best moment. I was on the field when the Bills missed the field goal, and then it was just a scramble to get interviews with the Giants.
That sounds like a great time.
Yeah, that was a good time.
And one more question. Do you have any information or any advice for an aspiring broadcaster like myself?
You've already got half the job done. You've got a great presence. You've got great questioning. You're clear. You're concise. Just go get it, and don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Because half of the job is doing exactly what you're doing now. You're comfortable. You're at ease. And if you get into the business, just make sure of one thing. Try to do everything. Don't just focus on being on camera. There's nothing wrong with that. But learn all the behind the scenes. Learn audio. Learn how to edit. Learn to be a floor manager, production assistant, researcher. Do everything you possibly can, because your first job might not be on air. It might be just in the business, in the building as a production assistant, which could lead to what you're doing exactly right now.
Thank you very much, Carl.
You're welcome.
I'm here with Mike Quick, who hosts a Quick 60 on MSG Varsity. Mike, you analyze high school players all the time, so what are you looking for in tonight's game?
Well, you probably want me to talk about Pintabona, right? I'll tell you, I really like their receivers on Long Island. I like their quarterbacks. I like their running backs, but everybody says they're linebackers. And you got Vasily out there, and everybody says how good their linebackers are. I watch their linebackers in practice. I don't think this game's going to be close. I think Long Island, for the third year in a row, is going to win, and I think they could win big like they did last year.
All right, you mentioned Long Island winning for their third year in a row, but they've dominated. They've won 9 out of the last 15. What would New York City have to do to win?
Aaron, I think they have to be disciplined. I watched practice yesterday, and I was a little concerned how undisciplined they were. And Long Island had great discipline. Their practices were fast. They ran a lot of plays. The coaching is really good. I think New York has to be disciplined, and if they fall behind, they just have to be like, okay, you know what? It's still a game. Let's not try to score 3 touchdowns on one play. But the key for New York is going to be discipline, because Long Island this could be the most disciplined Long Island team I've ever seen.
And you mentioned discipline. Is that something that you look for in a player when you're picking like a star athlete?
Oh, you have to. The greatest athletes are going to have great discipline. Like if you didn't have great discipline when you jumped in the pool, you would drown, all right? So as a swimmer, you have to have great discipline in these games. And it's funny, you can see the kids right away of the 50 on each team. You can tell right away who the leaders are. It just jumps right off the page, and those are always the ones that have the most discipline. And I'll tell you, even though I thought New York was a little disorganized, they have 3 or 4 kids that are terrific leaders and are going to contribute to society in great ways in the future.
So you think you have any prospects for the MVPs of the game?
Yeah, I do. I'll tell you what, there's a kid, Ross from Riverhead, a defensive end, who I didn't know a lot about, and I watched him in practice. I love him off the edge, but I think in this game, William Standback from Uniondale, who played against Oceanside, I think William Standback flew underneath the radar on Long Island. I think when he goes off to Central Florida, the United States of America is going to find out that Uniondale had a pretty special kid, and I think William Standback or Stephen Casale, who just from Sachem East just has that look of big time all about him. I think one of those two will be the MVP.
All right, thank you so much.
You got it, Aaron. Great smile.
Thank you.
I'm here with Oceanside Sailor Vasily Grigorakis, who plays running back and linebacker. Vasily, tell us why you chose the University of Maine.
To be honest, I went up there for a visit. The coaches were great guys. The community was great. The football program was amazing. Kind of made me feel like I wasn't in Oceanside, you know?
What are you going to miss most next year now that you're not going to be part of the Sailors anymore?
My teammates, the community, how everyone made the program that much special and better for you to play on Friday nights.
What impact has Coach Blount and Coach Supple had on you in your high school career?
They push me every play, teach me the game even better. Every time I go out there, they work me to my full capability.
And if you had to say anything to the future Sailors, what would you say to them?
Work hard and jump the hump.
Yeah? All right.
Yep.
All right, thank you very much, Vasily.
Thank you.
Thanks, bro.
I'm here with Anthony Pintabona of Oceanside High School. So Anthony, how do you feel right now being Long Island's best player?
It's an honor, to be out here with all the rest of Long Island's best players, and you just know, and it's just an honor from everyone who voted me in this and how I got here.
Now, what are you going to miss most about Oceanside football?
I'm going to miss just the brothership. We're with each other 6 out of 7 days of the week, practicing and hanging out at each other's houses and just all that.
Now, do you have any words of advice for next year's Sailors?
Work hard, get in the weight room, and, you see what we could do if we just come together and practice and just put everything into it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
It was a great night here at Stewart Stadium at Hofstra University as the Boomer Esiason Foundation raised a lot of money in the fight against cystic fibrosis.
Despite the weather, the Empire Challenge was a great success with an action-packed game here at Hofstra.
And for the 3rd year in a row, Long Island came out on top. Reporting for the Ozone from Oceanside High School and MSG Varsity, I'm Erin Regan.
I'm Nick Viano.
And I'm Sean McNamara.
Good night.